It's 6:30 and I call the January meeting of the Bolivar Board of Education to order. We have some guests, some very special guests, who are going to be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So if our Bolivar Middle School girls wrestling team would please make their way forward, we'd like to recognize you. Ladies, we're going to ask you to lead us all in the pledge, and then we're going to talk more about you.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Well, congratulations are in order. Please stay. Congratulations are in order to the Bolivar Middle School girls wrestling team. It's my understanding that you are the conference champions for middle school.
Yeah.
The first in school history, and also the history that the last girls wrestling team to win the championship for the OC is Bolivar. Congratulations. And Coach Bayless, do you all have some things you wanted to say? And please introduce your athletes to us.
Well, I think it'd be more entertaining.
Is Coach Summers?
Yeah, I'm here. He's there. I try to stay here.
I'll talk about them, and you can introduce them.
Okay, deal.
These young ladies, I know when you look at them, they look, very sweet and kind, and they can be, but when you put them on the mat, they are fierce. And at the OC tournament, we went 25-4 that day. 25 wins, 4 losses. We won 17 of the matches with a pin. And this little team of 8 girls defeated teams that were even twice their size as far as in numbers, just because they just kept winning. And they won all day. Every single girl that you're looking at right now received all conference honors. Every single girl that wrestled that day received all conference honors. And we're really proud of them, and they're sticking with it, and they're going to grow up and be good wrestlers for us for the next few years.
Yep. Okay. So we'll start on this end, Peyton Albright, and then Palin Inman, and Peyton Leanne. Is this Adriana? Lily, and Lexi Lily, and then Mackenzie Davis, Lillian Uzar, Sarah Myers, and Mariah Bolin.
That's it.
Congratulations.
Congratulations on a job well done, and you get out there and you keep fighting like a girl. Yeah. We're proud of you.
Amen.
Good job.
All right.
Great job, ladies. Great job. So cool.
And then we have another group that we want to recognize. They're here from our intermediate school. Mr. Love, would you bring your students forward, please?
Just last week, we actually had our school spelling bee, which is something new we've started up at the intermediate school. And I made a joke that night. It was the night of the national championship for college football, that our spelling bee was more intense and more exciting than the national championship game. So if you only watch, but I do want to introduce to you Stella Garrison, who won the spelling bee, and then one of our finalists, Brooklyn Murray. Chance Allison was also a finalist. He was not able to make it tonight, but it came down to these 3, and if I counted right, they went 10 rounds, getting into 7th grade words. Before Stella was able to claim the victory with the word repose. So it was a great night, really proud of them, and just want to congratulate them and introduce them to you.
That's great. Congratulations.
Ladies, congratulations. Yeah. Keep up the good work. Make you proud. We have some commendations this evening, and I've asked Mike Ryan if he'd read those, please.
Yes. We have some commendations from VHS. Ellie Samick, first place in the state MIC public speaking contest. Congratulations, Ellie. Megan Howard has been selected as all-state in volleyball. Congratulations, Megan. I think she's probably playing basketball tonight. Girls basketball won the Maryland's Early Tournament. The boys basketball were the Blue and Gold Consolation champs. January 9th was Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. We are very thankful for our school resource officers, Scott and Mason. Thank you so much for what you do, for all that you do to keep our school buildings safe. And at VSS, we talked about this a little bit, but congratulations again for Chance Allison, Stella Garrison, and Brooklyn Murray, who were the top 3 spellers in the BIS Spelling Bee, sponsored by the Bolivar Educational Foundation. Stella will now represent BIS in the regional online qualifier in February. So congratulations, Stella. Congratulations, BIS.
Thank you very much. We have several consent agenda items to move forward and approve. There are minutes, bills, and resignations. Is there a motion to approve our consent agenda items as presented?
So moved.
Second by Dan. Okay. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Fantastic. Moving on to employment. We have some classified, right?
Mhm. We have
Okay.
2 classified employment recommendations, Aaron Connor and Carol Burns.
Okay, is there a motion that we move forward with those classified employment?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mike. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Going forward, we have some extra duty assignments.
Some upcoming sports, so those will be ones that we either need to get added or corrected, and then we do have a volunteer coach position that we have to list as well. We would make a recommendation for those approval.
Okay, we all have the list of those. Is there a motion that we move forward with these extra duty assignments? So moved by Dan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ron. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, and the motion passes. And do we have any substitutes?
We
We
have
do
one
have a
sub, yes.
substitute. Is there a motion that we approve the employment of the substitute on our list?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Is it seconded by Mike? Any further discussion? No? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. And that motion passes. In the hubbub of the start of our meeting, with so many people coming and going, we didn't stop and recognize we have our 2 seniors joining us this evening. We have Ms. Kaufman and Ms. Hollenbach joining us. Thank you all for taking time out of your schedule to be part of our school board meeting. So
Don't
thank
forget
you.
about your pizza, Mr. Blair.
And ice cream.
And ice cream. You added to it.
Yes.
Next
That's
month,
right.
it'll be milkshakes, pizza, and
We'll wait till May.
you'll be up to a 7-course meal by May.
I have been asked by several people to be cognizant of the fact that there's a girls' basketball game that begins at 7, and so if there's any way we can speed this up, I've been encouraged to do so. So I'm gonna pass that on to those of you who are here as well. Heed that if you wish. Okay. Moving forward with our CSIP updates and reports. Our student teacher minute will be provided by the folks at Bridges.
I think we have a video first, and then Mr. Ancrum's going to visit with us.
Okay.
We really tried last year to come up with some ways to remove our students from the screens. Odyssey Ware and getting their credit is obviously important, but we really wanted to remove them from those screens and teach them some life lessons, some life goals.
What's this middle mark on the in between the 0 and 1? What is the 1.5? Look at you go.
What we're currently doing is preparing to build birdhouses. The beginning stage of that is make sure you know how to read a tape measure. That way you cut the right length. We're going to learn hard skills doing that, but we want to make sure they have those soft skills also.
So that makes the next little mark what? 3/16.
Coping skills, job skills, employability skills. We've focused a lot on soft skills that a lot of employers look for.
These made us really aware of
some skills that we have had are some skills that we need to be better at. I'm a very punctual person, and I've learned that I could probably use some teamwork skills.
I chose positive. I come into JAG, any kind of class, and with positive. Either if everyone's having a bad day, I always try to keep it positive.
You also bought something on the 8th.
Probably my favorite part is the field trips we've been able to take. We've done Creator Designs, we've done a welding company in Stockton.
We went to the Career Center in Springfield. It's very important to know what skills you need to have, things you need to know in order to get hired for a job, like resumes, how to build a resume, certain skills you need to have.
10.
So you're back to 10. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Willingness to try new things, I think, has increased the most, and that's really what I wanted to see.
I would say the biggest thing is we're seeing students that maybe were not motivated to get jobs outside of school, or didn't know what their career path was, or maybe knew what their career path was but didn't know how to explore that.
Coach B has currently helped me get into CMH to help me reach what I want to do when I get out of school, which is be a paramedic. I like helping people and taking care of people. I feel like that I can make a big impact on somebody's life.
What's the whole number? 5.
My hopes for the program is that kids are begging to be a part of it, and that our program prepares them for life after school. Right? It's one thing to get to graduation, but it's another thing to know what to do once you've graduated.
I didn't think I would ever get to this point to where I would be going into CMH and helping people and getting started with like going into paramedic stuff.
I think that this was the missing piece to Bridges, in my opinion, from what I know about it from the past, how it went last year, and I really think that this is going to be the key to seeing our students be successful when they do earn that diploma.
Very good. Darren, come talk to us.
Try to make it quick. So I'm going to share a few numbers with you, and then I want to kind of elaborate on Braden's video and some of the other things that we have going on at Bridges. But right now we currently have 75 students that are enrolled in our program. 64 of those are actually seated in the building, and then we have another 11 that are online for some various reasons. And of the 75, 24 of them are seniors. And while we focus on all of our students, right now we're really focusing with second semester getting our seniors across the finish line. And most of our seniors are on track. We do have a few that came to us late, specifically from other school districts. So we're trying to get them caught up as fast as we can. Last year our graduation rate was 100%. So obviously we're proud of that, and we're hoping to get to that number again this year, or at least get very, very close to it. The number I'm probably most proud of, lost my notes here, is this is my notes, so sorry. The number that I'm most proud of is our attendance rate this year. Last year, being my first year, our attendance rate for the entire year was 82.5%, which obviously isn't great. Through the fall semester this year, we're sitting at 93.7%. And that's really boils down to two things. One, we do have some incentives, and I'm not going to elaborate too much on them, but if students meet their academic goals, their attendance goals, and do not have behavior issues, then we incentivize them with free time towards the end of the week with movies. Their phones are a huge incentive to them. And then we also have a snack closet that they have access to, which we all know food talks to all teenagers, specifically in our building. But really the main thing, I feel like the reason that our attendance is what it is we were able to hire 3 new staff members this year. And really all 3 of them were, we knocked all 3 hires out of the park. And they've really come in and they've done a great job of building relationships with our students. You can go to any alternative school in America and visit with at-risk students, and they're probably all going to say the same thing. They either didn't feel that they had an adult that had their back, or they did not have an adult that had their back, one way or the other. And I feel like we've provided that for them. They know they've got somebody that's going to take care of them, look after them more than just their academic needs, and most of them have multiple teachers that are like that, and I think that that's really why our attendance is what it is. We have students that want to come to school. So again, our staff's been tremendous, and I couldn't be more proud of them and what they've done so far this year. So a little bit about what a day looks like at Bridges, and I'll tie the JAG into this, and Dr. Asbell and I talked, Carrie and I talked, the past was come in, sit down, stare at a computer screen from 7:45 to 2:40 every single day, and we really wanted to get away from that. Last year we implemented some things that allowed the students to get away probably about a quarter of the day. They were doing some enrichment activities. We toyed around a little bit with the woodworking and stuff like that. So this year we really did a complete overhaul of our schedule, and we divided it into four class periods, so to speak. 2 of those class periods are still dedicated to Odyssey Wear. If you're not familiar with Odyssey Wear, that's how our students earn their credit. It is 100% self-paced, so if you're willing to come in and put your nose down and get after it, you can get caught up pretty quick. And we really feel that half of a day is sufficient enough time to do that and to stay on track or to get ahead. But we stepped away a little bit, and one of the other options that we offered is an enrichment period. And we have 3 different options with that. And the first one is we now have a full art class at Bridges. I was lucky enough to steal the art teacher from BMS last year. Mr. Potter's still not talking to me because of that. But Jennifer Lindsay has come over and just been a rock star with that. The students love it. It's probably our most popular enrichment. And then we also have 2 other options. We have a novels slash movie class. I think they're doing the Divergent series right now, where they read, Doug Johnson actually reads the novel to them. They step back, they watch part of the movie, and then they just go back and forth. And then we have another lower level of kind of the same thing as what Doug is doing. So our students have that. They're getting credit for that if they participate in the assignments that come with that enrichment. And then finally, I think Braden did a phenomenal job. Our JAG has been just amazing. So Dr. Asbell, Carrie, I think you may play a part in there. Just took credit for it, wanted to.
He takes a lot of credit for it.
Yeah, he does.
Good job.
He takes the only thing I'm good at.
Yeah.
It has truly been a blessing. We've talked a lot about what we could add, and like I said in the video, this was the missing piece. When you have the young lady on there, she's actually doing her onboarding at CMH right now. She wants to be a paramedic, and for her to say that she never thought she'd be in position to be starting that journey now, I think that that makes it all worth it in and of itself. So we're excited about JAG. We did get a grant, and to go along with the woodworking that was so popular last year, we basically used that grant to fund an entire wood shop that is now in the back of our building. As Coach Breedlove said, we're going to start the birdhouses. We've got a couple other guided projects, and then we kind of want to turn them loose with their imaginations and let them get hands-on and be creative with it. But I could sit here all night and say thank you for JAG, because it's just been amazing. So that's all I really have. If you have questions, feel free to fire away.
I don't have a question, but I will just say again, and I know I've said it before, but thank you for all of the changes that you've made to the Bridges program. You're making a difference in these students' lives, and every student over there deserves to have a cheerleader like you and like your staff, and it hasn't always been that way there, so I appreciate all that you're doing.
Thank you.
What's our average attendance?
For like our building,
District-wide, basically.
we're probably 89, 90, something like that.
That's awesome to see that kind of improvement, and to hear that those connections are being made. Ron and I were talking about that the other night. Like, we can talk about all kinds of policies and procedures, but without the connection that, the student feels, it's all for nothing. They gotta feel that, so great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Keep up the good work, Darren. Appreciate it. All right, let's move forward and talk a little bit about curriculum. Dr. Wall?
Okay, you have the curriculum report. I just have a couple updates I want to talk to you about. We are so excited about getting our literacy samples in. We have 6 different resources we're looking at. They're all rated very high on Ed Report, so all green, which is good. So we're starting with quality stuff anyway, but we will be narrowing that focus. We're going to pull together a K-12 group of teachers. I'm sorry, K-5. We're only looking K-5 right now, group of teachers. So we're looking at about 2 classroom teachers per grade level, a special ed teacher for the building, and a title teacher to help us vet out and find a couple of resources to pilot for next year. And then we will be bringing the series that is most aligned to all of our needs. We have a scoring guide that we've developed that has all of the things that we know good literacy should have in it. And we'll be comparing it to that guide. And so the series that is closely aligned to that, the most closely aligned to that will be the one that we'll bring to you for approval later. And so we're either piloting next year or purchasing. I think it depends on if one series just rises to the top, then we'll go ahead and bring that to you. If there's a couple, we'll explore them in the fall, and then we'll bring a recommendation to you in the spring.
Do you have any questions for Dr. Wong? Okay, let's go on with our administrative reports. Mr. Blair, we're going to start with you since you're at the front of the room, sir.
Would it be all right if we go ahead and get a student update now?
Oh,
before
absolutely, yes.
I've got several things to talk about. I'll need some time.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for your report, Jason.
Well, you know, we started the semester a little slow with a few snow days, but we're really about to jump into like the full throes of the school year, especially with court warming. We're starting preparations for that very soon. The game is set for the 16th, and the dance will probably be the Saturday before or the Saturday after. So yeah, Miss Lawson will probably be putting together a team for that very soon, probably in the next week or so.
So I heard you say no more snow days is what I think I caught out of that. Is that right?
I mean, you can gather from that whatever you heard.
Okay. I just want to ask for clarification. I was pretty sure I heard we have had too many snow days.
There's been a lot. My house it felt like it was closing in around me a little bit.
Okay. I will
So
keep
you're-
that in mind as we move forward.
Going on
She
record
told me
as the student
before the
representative.
meeting that she was ready to go back to school, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that concludes our student report.
Okay.
Thank you.
good job.
Thank you.
Hey, from Coach Pizzetti, just a reminder, obviously we're semifinal of the girls tournament tonight. Championship will be next Tuesday, and then the boys tournament will be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So just a reminder there. Nothing much to add to my report other than I did mention the sound system for the auditorium. We've got 2 out of the 3 bids we've requested. By next month, we should have all 3 bids in and ready for your viewing pleasure. The only other thing I'll mention, just the enrollment that's on there may not be accurate. That is actually December's enrollment. When I tried to pull enrollment, I couldn't get it off of Lumen. So just a note there. That's a December enrollment. But any questions for me? Okay,
It says
thank you.
no. Okay, thank you. Oh, is there anybody just really dying to get up here and talk? I mean, from the principal world, I would not want to deny you that.
Ben needs to
Option.
visit about.
Yes, we're talking about talented and gifted.
You want me to go through my full report, or what I was going to talk about, or just
Yeah, tell us what you're about.
just an update with our winter sports. Basketball has been very successful. Girls, 7th grade girls basketball were supposed to play for first in the 11 tournament, and that was postponed due to the weather. 8th grade girls were playing for third. That got postponed as well. 8th grade boys won second in the Camden tournament, and the boys, 7th and 8th, they're both playing. They won the first round of the Lebanon tournament last night, so very successful. As winter sports wrap up, talking about tag and planning for next year, with the teacher leaving mid-year with tag, we're looking to fill that spot for next year to continue our tag supports for those students. So that's our goal for that position. And then the last thing I want to hit on is the beef grant. We're so incredibly thankful. That picture that was included in my report, that was such an awesome moment with Mrs. Young, first-year teacher. She got the grant. So Braden Berg and I walked in, and she saw the big check, and she just was in tears, just so thankful. And it's going to be so great for our students. They're going to get to have a pottery wheel unit that goes along with our kiln. So super excited about that. Yeah. Any questions for me?
Talented, the kids who were in the talented and gifted program, have they gone somewhere? Are there
Yeah, so they're
educational
in
needs
they're in
being
lib
met
time.
right now?
Right, yeah, they're in lib time, so they're getting supports, our regular interventions that every student gets. But that class will come back next year with, we're looking for someone to fill that spot.
You know, I think, Mr. Potter, you might want to sing a Snow Day song next board meeting. Wouldn't that be lovely?
I've run out of inspirations because we had so many snow days.
Have you heard his songs?
Yes,
Not too many people like that because he might not need her employment.
His side gig.
Yeah, I'm lost on any more inspiration of
You
snow
can do
days.
it repeat. It's okay.
Huh?
You could do the last one. That one was good. You
Yeah.
can do that one again. It's fine.
Maybe Ron can play some music with me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Sarah, do you have anything you'd like to share?
First, I want to say we're super thankful for all the maintenance and custodians that got us back up and running. They are an amazing team. They just swooped in, saved the day, and we were ready for kids that night. So, and then we had another snow day. So that gave us a little more time.
Always I get the credit for that.
At Little Liberator, we've had some great opportunity to gain some PD through our daycare subsidy evaluation. So we are working through that process. So that's been really exciting. We had some professional development around car seat safety as well as safe sleeping safety. So that's been really eye-opening. You know, trends change and those types of things. And then with PAT, we are purchasing some backpacks so that after they go into the home and they teach a lesson on some sort of development, then we can leave a bag of goodies for the family to continue to explore and grow those skills then for the next visit. So it'll constantly match what's being taught to the family so they can continue that growth in the building and at home. Questions for me?
Thank you very much. Mr. Love?
Rachel and I thought our reports were really good this month.
I would agree.
Unless you have specific questions.
You are welcome to say pass.
Okay, I think we're good.
We've been in session 7 days since our last report.
I was on Christmas vacation. Okay, that's fair. Have I skipped anybody? Admin reports, Jason and Mike and then Braden. And, yep, absolutely. Hopping up here.
Good evening, everybody. Couple quick things. These are just positive things. We've made a good extended partnership with MSBA for some local tax effort things that we're working on, which is a great thing. It just helps us for different students that we serve. We can get into that, but we don't need to go deep into that. Special Olympics basketball, January 30th here at home against Clever. February 7th at Nixa, and then they're back home again February 15th versus Republic on that one.
What time will those start? Do we know?
Probably 6 would be my guess. I don't believe that those are any nights that are, they've done it before. They've been like play a halftime of basketball games or between basketball, but I think that's they've got that night. They'll do some skills stuff, 3-on-3, and then their 5-on-5 teams. The last thing I want to put out there is a celebration. This is for Bolivar schools. This is, I got to witness a former student, Landon Kemp. He illustrated this book, and his sister wrote it. They're Bolivar graduates. Marla Kemp provided these books to students at a parent event night that I was able to attend tonight at the intermediate school. So that's just a big win for Bolivar, that we have people doing amazing things, you know, beyond school. So she was happy for me to just be able to share that. So I wanted to put that out there for just two former students, because him and his sister are out there doing this. Tremendous artist. The kids got to see him do art digitally right in front of them. It was an amazing thing to just watch how that happened, to see how, okay, I see how it got to the pages of this book. So really cool thing. If you want to see the book, I can pass that around. I do have to bring it back to the building, but so any other questions?
Just stealing books.
So that's all I got.
Let us know how the MSBA stuff goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for the recommendation on that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you, Jason. Mike, you want to come visit with us?
Sure.
You can say pass as well.
You can pass?
Yeah.
Unless
can.
you have questions, I'll be glad to pass. I would appreciate your support on action item F later in the meeting.
Got it.
Okay, yes. Very good. Braden?
I'll pass as well.
Okay.
I've made 4 variations of a snow day graphic. That's what I've been doing lately.
This is a rough night.
Very
Rough
compelling.
night. I don't get any thank yous when we call snow days, but now everybody's like, oh, we have too many of them now.
Can't win. Can't win. Does Chelsea have something in this file?
No, it should be in the final.
Okay. Did I skip anybody? Did I miss anybody? Okay. We're going to go forward and talk about our district financial planning. So that is Chelsea.
You're up, Chelsea.
Yeah.
Good evening. So we're going to start preparing our W-2s and 1099s to go out the end of this month. That's what we're working on since we just finished payroll. Lori will work on 1099s. Myself and Melanie and Jody will also probably help us work on W-2s. I've set meetings with all the principals from February 1st to the 9th for go over building budgets, department budgets, things that they need for next school year. We have received a little over $8 million in local tax dollars for this year so far, and so we will be working, Dr. Asbel and I, with MOCAT to get those funds invested, whether it's in a liquid fund or a CD of some short-term CD to earn additional revenue for the district. Also, I was working on a Department of Revenue notice that we received, and we were able to get that completely cleared up. And we received a check for just over $51,000 back from the Department of Revenue, so that was great for the district. And then at the bottom, I listed here, I showed you guys what we paid for Internal Revenue Service and what we paid for Missouri Department of Revenue for payday for tomorrow. And then I also showed you what we actually paid. Internal Revenue Service, we paid $172,532.79, which breaks down to Social Security of $52,594.56, Medicare of $44,291.08, and then federal taxes of $75,647.15. So,
Thank you very
for
much.
this.
you're welcome. If you have any questions for me?
And you'll continue to provide this for the board
Yep.
every month? So
I will.
I think what we're going to try to do is look at the revenue and expenditure report that you would get, and then basically add this with some other components to the back of that. So that report will end up becoming two-sided.
Correct.
And then that'll allow her regular report just to remain the same, but we'll put the data back on that. So you'll always have it in regard to financials for each market.
And you should have gotten one of our commendations for doing what you did to work everything out with the Department of Revenue on that mess for the $50,000. So congratulations, let this be your commendation. We appreciate you tremendously, and thank you for providing this information to the board.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Facilities and operations.
Just a quick update, and we're going to pull up on the screen just some graphics for you. We are in the preliminary process of just kind of defining what that restroom facility might look like in regard to the layout so that we can go to bid. So we have a couple different options for you. There's what you're looking at there on the screen is 2A. 2A does provide us some good options in regard to storage. The restrooms, it kind of provides you a better economy by putting the restrooms together for plumbing and making one single chase. It also helps us with some drain lines and the sewer line connections, so that's a good option for us. The other piece, which is we look at the orientation against the field and the track and what that would look like. The other piece you'll see is bid alternate. You'll notice that we're going to do a base bid, which is the original footprint that we had anticipated is 50 by 50, but we'll actually take an alternate on the additional 20 foot, so it would be 50 by 70. So we've got some options there for you to consider. Page 2 is just potentially what that might look like from the exterior. As you're looking at for those of you in the audience as well as the board members, the upper left picture, that would basically be you standing and looking kind of north. And so what we've done is we've identified the potential concession area to be located in that that south corner And then the Bolivar that you see on the side of the wall there, that would basically face the track area. And then as you work your way around, the Bolivar Liberator horse would face directly north and basically be looking at the parking lot, and the Liberators on the back would be facing Hartford Street. And that kind of gives you some design options of what that would look like. 3A is a floor plan option that we did consider, and we'll scroll up. That does separate and put the concession stand and the mechanical and storage in the middle. And if you look at the next page, what that would do, so what we feel like is that basically how the track is laid out and then the access to the different areas, this isn't necessarily the best use of space. It doesn't necessarily allow for good flow into the restrooms because you basically will be standing in line to get to the restroom and the concession would be right in the middle of that. So we didn't feel like this would be the best option. And then we go back and we talk about where the bathrooms could be on opposite walls. Really does save you a lot more money in regard to the plumbing cost. And then we have a third option. And really the first option and the third are very similar. It's just how we've aligned the mechanical storage. And if you want to go ahead and scroll on down to what that might look like, we would still on this particular one be able to add another window on the south side to where it would look very similar, and it's really only the mechanical storage that would be the option. So we think it's going to be kind of a combination of 2A on the front and 3A on the back, and how we would use that mechanical storage and then potentially open up that south awning area similar to what we have on 2A.
Is that storage area not gonna have like a garage door in there or anything?
Yeah, we just put, for template holders, you can put any kind of garage door you want in it.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be double doors, or it could be a roll-up door, or anything like that.
So I did some quick measurements of the concessions that we have at the middle school. It's like 25 by 30.
I believe that's correct.
Just the concession, not including the bathroom, just to kind of have a visual. And this, I mean, I guess if you use the mechanical, like I'm looking at the option 2A, it gets close, but it's still probably on the small side. And all the concessions we have at the high school are really, really small.
That's correct.
So it would be nice to have one at least that size, which is 25 by 35, just to have some kind of storage over there.
Yeah, it really is just the economy of scale. Once you realize the footprint cost of this, then you can start making some adjustments of saying, okay, we want to put more space in this or less space in that.
Right, like our main focus is bathrooms right now, so like we could
correct.
just take the concession, like use that up, as long as we have the space there.
That's correct.
For it.
Yep.
And the design, like, I like it where it's on two sides and there are two windows.
Yes. Yep. That's exactly right. You're just really going to be looking at, what does this look like and how would it provide us the best options. And when we went back through these, we felt like that combination of 2A and 3A was going to be kind of the mix. And using that mechanical storage a little differently and then opening up that other window on 3A gives us the best kind of option that you can say, hey, instead of the mechanical storage, we're just going to expand that concession stand and make it larger. The bathrooms are, if you will, they're coordinated with what potential would be a visitor's side restroom facility. So it is not meant to be like a main restroom facility. You would still have another restroom facility that would go on the west side of the track in one of the phases. So this is only to be your initial bathroom, and it's geared to be the visitor's side bathroom only.
And possibly locker room, like down the road, or would you have is there another spot for that, you think?
Yeah, you would want to put a locker room on the other side. We've talked a little bit about what that would be on the northwest corner or the south west corner. Depending on what you would have over there, you would still have to have a conversation about, is it just track? Is it just track and wrestling? What would we have? How big would that facility be? Would it be for track cross country? Do we want soccer there eventually? So then all of a sudden that gives you an economy of scale of saying, we're gonna start with this, but with some red iron buildings, we can add to it and make that facility larger if we decide to start adding sports over there. That would be the best advice I'd have is start looking at this and go, like what we did here is we have a 50 by 50 with a 20-foot alternate. When you get into the other side, you may be looking at 50 to 70 by 100 with 20 to 50-foot alternates. And so that would provide you those additional spaces that you could look and say, one, can we afford it? And two, how would we utilize those spaces? Any preferences, or am I on the right track for what we're doing in regard to potential bid documents? Does anybody like 3A that I would need to switch and say, hey, we need to focus on that?
Seems to make sense from the plumbing aspect to keep the restrooms in a more economical sense.
Okay.
I think the double windows.
That option that was earlier, you sent another one where it said, there was actually all toilets in the men's and, like, I don't know, and the concession was larger in that one. It said very large. That would look, I like that layout also.
Yep. What that one did was it just started limiting what we would be able to use in the next section, like it expanded it out, and we go, okay, that's using every possible inch. And so another key factor is going, this is our first facility. It provides us with the appropriate number of restrooms, and then we could use this back and say, okay, we want to put a wall there, so we're going to make it a girls and boys changing, not necessarily full locker rooms and showers, but this would be the opportunity for us to put in the drain lines, potential water lines, so that everything would be ready to go if we decided, hey, we want to turn that into a potential
changing area would be great.
That is correct. Yep.
That would be great there, not out in the field changing.
We will continue to work on that and start moving forward with some bid documents then.
The only concern I had was that this is gonna be the one building that people will see from the street.
Yes.
And so I just wanna make sure that the face of that
You can go
is.
to, actually that one right there.
Right.
No, go up, Sheila, I'm sorry, go up to page 2. So all the way up. So that one right there. So what we've done is we've tried to establish, okay, what can we afford?
Sure.
And then what kind of options do we bring in with like some faux rock or faux brick or faux split face in regard to that lower 4 feet? You could take that up to 6 feet, 7 feet. So we believe that is going to be, for this particular facility, having a more durable lower 4 to 6 feet is probably the better plan for us, just because of, people standing there with the foot up against the building, those type of things. That will provide a much better look. And then what we'll be able to do is start looking at aesthetically, what would that faux rock, faux brick, what would that look like? What colors do we want to bring in there? And so why you see it this way is because a lot of times people get hung up. If we were to throw color on this, people like, I thought we were building so we try to keep it very gray and very minimal color so that you do not, I thought we were getting, red brick on the bottom. This is just meant to be a suggestion of what we could do with the facade. And all of that will be determined once you get your bids in.
I just hope that whatever that is doesn't just look like an old metal building we put
Correct.
out there, because I think that will set the design trend for whatever other buildings will be there.
Yeah.
And I think it will be, for a lot of people, the definition of what Bolivar looks like.
Yes.
Because that'll be the first building you see. So I think we just need to be really careful about the design of that, and that has very little architectural interest at all. So,
This one does?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because there's no color, I mean, I think what we'll be able to do is start bringing in the brick or the rock and say, hey, it's coming in. But it's whatever you want to do, it's just remember that will have to be determined when you start doing the bid of going, what can we afford?
Yeah, well, that's part of it too, but we still want it to be a good welcome.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Does anybody have any other questions about this? Okay. In my efforts to speed through our agenda, I forgot the board governance section of our agenda. And so here's what I'd like to tell you. The filing for our school board candidate race has closed. There will be 3 candidates running for 2 positions. They are Drew Legan, Janet Arnold, and Jillian Scott. And I believe one of our candidates is here this evening, and the other 2 were here a previous night. So great to see you all. Very glad you're here. Our superintendent search is underway. Candidate applications were accepted to the beginning of the end of the first week of January. We had 16 candidates, applicants from Alaska all the way to Florida. We met on Tuesday. We narrowed it down to 5 contenders. We'll be conducting Zoom get-to-know-you interviews on February 5th. From there, we'll select our final candidates and have an in-person interview with hopes of having an announcement by the end of February at the very latest, hopefully a little bit sooner than that. The legislative session has already begun, and if you're not reading, board members, if you're not reading your legislative update, please try to check on that almost every day. Education is the hot button issue this year more than ever before. There are so many education bills that have been filed, and they're not necessarily friendly to public education. One of the most important things we do as board members is advocacy. And our advocacy day is scheduled for April 9th in Jeff City. So that'll get several bills through, maybe some consolidated bills, to prepare us for that. Though we did this last year and we'll do it this year, we'll have a lunch and learn session for 3 weeks prior to the meeting in April. And those dates are in one of our MSBA updates. Last year we met at lunch, and anyone else who wants to come and watch the legislative update, you're welcome to come and join us. We'll have lunch here. We'll hear from different representatives and the lobbyists who are working on school issues, so we'll be aware of what we need to do and what our role needs to be. The SWAB meeting, Dr. Aswell let me know that SWAB has requested a meeting. This is their initiation, not ours. They initiate these meetings. They would like to meet on February 7th. One of the best things that we've done as a board is start sending representatives to that meeting to have a better understanding of what matters most to our teachers. So if there are 3 board members who would like to attend on February 7th, that meeting should begin right after school, 3:30.
Ish.
3:30-ish?
Around 3:30.
Right, so not more than 3 or we would have a quorum, but are there 3 people who, if you don't take the position now,
Oh, you
that's
don't,
okay,
you don't
let
have
me
to
know.
come. I mean, we just
Right,
invite you if you
right.
want to be there.
So up to 3 people can come, so I think
I could be there at 4.
you could be there
Oh, yeah.
4, okay.
Stop
Ron,
by.
you've been
Yes.
before, and I don't know if that date works with your schedule, mine.
I probably could be there by 4 too.
Okay, I wasn't at the last one. You were at the last one, okay, I'll try to get to this one. Okay, so we'll try and make it Dan, Paula, and Mike will be there. And if you can't, let us know, or Ron, if you decide, no, I really want to be there, you let me know, and we'll,
If somebody can't, holler at me.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I just think that's really important for us to be there. To hear, and that's an opportunity for us to listen to what's important. So that is my board governance update. Okay, back to the schedule. Moving on to our review and discussion, our building APR.
Yes, in your packet, we gave you just a list of comparison schools. Those are conference schools, the new conference we're joining, and other schools that look like us. We've done a pseudonym because we really don't want to compare ourselves to other schools. We really want to compare ourselves to ourselves. But that gives you a little bit of a situated look on how we're doing and where we're at. I'd like to invite the principals up real quick to do just a quick building APR. They're going to talk about their APRs from last year to this year. They've just got a couple things.
Do we have this?
You should have that in your packet. Okay, we'll take that.
Here, you can use that one.
You see this?
Go, you're
Okay.
good.
Yes, you can see what the fellows have elected this evening, which is, I can keep this most succinct.
We have been working really hard actually at analyzing where are we at on our APR. What are the things that we're doing really well on? What are the strategies we've already outlined in our CSIP that we want to be good at? So attendance is a big one that we already have a meeting scheduled for that we're all talking about. And then, of course, based off of all of those performance indicators, individual conversations are happening within each and every building. What would you like to add?
Nailed it.
There we go. Good job.
Do you have any questions?
Thank you.
They weren't very nice.
Okay. Tim Garwood, I didn't see you back there behind the podium, and I skipped you in the report.
I was really offended.
Well, let me
I was
correct
just
my
going to
error.
give an update on our Bolivar graduate program, so I can do that next month.
Are you sure? I don't
Yeah.
want you to
Yep, it's
feel
good.
overlooked or,
It can wait until next month.
okay, the podium can be really troublesome sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about HVAC lease purchases.
So we are in the process of finalizing terms on our HVAC agreement. We have some significant needs at the high school. The primary be the kindergarten area, and then the middle school, primarily the gym, the current gym, and then the ground source system at the middle school. So that proposal is $3,336,261. So what we would be doing is, we have those as immediate needs, and we would like to go ahead and place those on the schedule with Train, and in the action items, you'll have an opportunity to approve that proposal. The point of this particular discussion would be, is that would be $3,336,000 worth of commitment that would be part of our bond issue in April. So if the bond issue will be presented to voters in April. If it passes, then we would utilize those funds right out of the bond proceeds. If the bond does not pass, we would still have these as immediate needs. They don't change for the district in regard to our operation plan. So at that point, we would look at shifting that to a lease purchase option. We would look at a 10 or 15-year type note with that. So the commitment to these particular projects is immediate and needed. Some of those have been a need for 7-8 years. So this allows us to catch up. It's not going to be free, and so if the bond issue passes, we have an opportunity and a pathway for that to be funded. If the bond issue does not pass, we would still have these needs. We will roll that into a lease purchase. The challenge to that would be is that significantly reduces our operational ability on the funds, because we will have to pre-dedicate those funds first to make sure that the lease is paid. So it's a significant effort. We'll talk about the bond issue here in just a little bit, but just need to make sure everyone understands that our HVAC needs are not going to go away, so that has to be addressed and allow us to take on some of the other things that we want to do.
Do you all have any questions for Dr. Asler? Okay, let's move on to our action items. First is the approval of the 24-25 school calendar.
So with, I'm going to bring it up again, with the school snow days, we weren't able to get a couple of our calendar committee options back in, so I did send out a survey. One of the last pieces that I really need to ask the calendar committee to meet again is in December, the calendar committee kind of had a question about could we do professional learning on the Monday after Thanksgiving, or could we move it to the Friday before Christmas break? And there was some pro and con, and I believe Jason was there, but it ended up being half the people were like, yeah, let's do it. And then half the people were like, no, let's do this. And so we sent out that survey reminder, and we started getting feedback, and a question was presented. And what probably does not show up would be is if we have professional learning on the Monday after Thanksgiving, then we have to have student attendance day on Friday before Christmas break. If we do the Friday before Christmas break is the professional learning day, then students would come in on the Monday before or after Thanksgiving. So initially it was the Monday after Thanksgiving was trending much more in favor. When I sent out that clarification email, there were some corrections that occurred, and they are trending much closer now. So I think there's not a point in me saying that the calendar itself is in pretty good shape. It's just those 2 days, and I'd really like the calendar committee to kind of circle back around with that one. So I will be bringing you the proposed calendar, and it's really about what happens in December. Everything else is pretty well set. We just need to get some clarifications and let the calendar committee kind of look and say, Monday after Thanksgiving or Friday before break, talk about that in the pros and cons and make a recommendation.
Okay. I don't want to put our high school students on the spot, but I'm going to. If it was a Monday or a Friday off, do you think it matters to students? Which would be preferential?
Definitely Monday, in my opinion. Because, you know, the beginning of the week is just, that Monday is just really hard to get through sometimes. And, you know, we can survive a Friday, in my opinion. But yeah, especially right after Thanksgiving, because you're like still so full. And you know, you
The
just need that
tryptophan,
extra
the
day.
turkey tryptophan is still intact.
Yeah, it's the turkey's fault. So I do believe that Monday would be better.
What do you think?
I think that a longer Christmas break, even if it's just by one day, would always be welcome. Like cutting off the Friday before, because then you get to Thursday and you're like, oh my God, I don't have to go to work.
It's exactly how it went down in the calendar. 50% of the people here, 50%. See, it's gonna be just like a snow day. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do?
Yeah, but I
enjoyed my snow days.
Yeah.
I enjoyed
enjoyed
them
them
too. I enjoyed them too. They just felt a little bit. But I think she has a point about Mondays. Yeah.
Well, we can just jump right in and approve it if you want to, but, you know, I think with the trend and what, the survey adjustments, because you could tell that there was some, I didn't realize that. I think allowing the calendar committee to kind of revisit that. I still think they're gonna be kind of like 50% here and 50% there, but at least we need, everything else is in pretty good shape, so I think you're delaying it till February.
It won't hurt.
The Monday after or the Friday before?
We're not.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna take that back
We're
to the
gonna
calendar
table
committee.
this till next month.
Make sure that we have, even if it's 50-50 consensus.
Brad stole his packets we're sharing.
Oh, okay. I can bring you a recommendation, but I just wanna take that back to the committee and give them an opportunity to kind of visit about it.
You take two.
Took 2 of them. That's nice. Okay, so we're gonna table the calendar?
Yeah.
Okay, so that will be tabled until next month. We're gonna move forward and talk about, the policies that were each assigned, for our review last month, for approval this month.
That's what we're going to do like somebody else does. We approve it.
No, well, I mean, I guess we could. But each of us had a policy to approve. Any of you want to speak to the policy that you talked about, and whether you think we should move forward, or what are your recommendations? Ron, did you want to say anything about yours?
No, I reviewed mine and did not find, it had a lot of definitions and defined substances that were prohibited, involved testing of employees and consequences. I did not find anything in here that I felt needed altering or any additional attention.
Mike?
I reviewed mine as well. I didn't find any concerns. I think what's there is great.
I reviewed mine, I don't have any concerns.
Okay. I had 2 different policies to review. Those were long. But I didn't end up with any concerns by policy KK, but I'll get to that one at the end. So that's my first one. Kyle? Dan, did you have any?
I drew the short stick, I had 9 pages, but mine was on student discipline, and there's the only thing of the 9 pages was like the AI added to it, like you can't, what's cheating, considered cheating using chatbot, stuff like that, and then marijuana, so. that was all good.
I have a comment on Dan's, because I looked at that one as
Yeah.
well. Under automobile and vehicle misuse, and Jason, and is Clint still here? Did he leave?
No,
He went back to the.
And Ben might, especially with the older kids. Sorry, you don't normally have kids driving, but every now and then it's happened.
It has.
Very, hasn't it?
Yes, it
Yeah,
has.
8th grader pulling up in his car,
Yes.
yeah.
Freaked me out.
Under The first offense, suspension or revoking parking privilege, detention, or in-school suspension, for something with a vehicle that could be serious, I would consider us adding the option of OSS. A vehicle thing could be very serious. And if it were that point, I'd hate to pin us in here. And then on academic dishonesty, the first offense and subsequent, neither one offer an option of detention or ISS. It's only no credit for the work, a grade reduction, or a replacement assignment. I don't know why I wouldn't want you to have more tools in your toolbox if needed. So those would be my recommendations.
So it sounds like the policy
JGR1.
we probably need to table that and review it and possibly
And I
make
could
some.
email what I've said to the board and
Yeah.
to Sheila.
Please do.
And then we
Okay.
could review it next month?
Yeah,
Does
I
that
think
sound
that's great.
good?
Thank
Okay.
you.
Send it to MSBA and let them review those.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds
Okay.
fantastic. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
That's super important. When I spoke to Brad, he said he approved his policy, and it seemed like policy KK had two different options about the consequences, but it sounded like it was okay. Okay, so other than that, is there a motion that we approve all policies with the exception of JGR1, which we'll circle back to next month?
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
second? Okay. Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor, so you have the amended motion, then Sheila. Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, so with the exception of that one policy. Okay. Moving forward to the HVAC agreement with Train.
So we've discussed this, we've kind of been reviewing this for several months. This would put us into the job confirmation for this summer for a lot of HVAC work, renovation, as well as repair and replacement. So would recommend that we approve the Train HVAC proposal.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we move forward with that.
Okay. Is there a second?
Or second.
Second, okay. Any further discussion? One of those?
Third.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. And the motion passes. Next, we're going to talk about the bond architecture service with Paragon.
So we will be doing some pre-bond work with Paragon. We can expand that to some other groups if we need to, but for right now, they would be helping us with some of the pre-bond planning. So I'd recommend approval of the pre-bond services with Paragon Architecture.
Is there a motion that we move forward with the pre-bond architecture services with Paragon?
So moved.
Is there a second by Dan? Okay, any further discussion?
Any of these fees, so it's $21,000 worth of fees. If the bond passes, it rolls right into the existing work. So it's not you don't lose the value of the work that we're doing within the pre-bond planning.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. And that motion passes. Next, we are going to talk about our bond issue resolution.
So you should have in your packet the Bolivar R1 bond issue resolution. That resolution is titled Liberators R1, and the ballot language is listed. We would recommend approval. That has been reviewed by bond counsel and Steeple. So once it is approved, we'll certify it, and that'll be filed with Polk County and Hickory County.
Okay. Do you want to review it's $11 million?
It's $11 million bond issue. It is a no tax increase bond issue, so we would be able to maintain our current debt service levy. This would fund those $11 million worth of projects. We would use, obviously, the first part of that would fund HVAC, and then based on the priorities that we went through, we would start looking at some of our safety needs, career education, the ag building. We would start looking, playgrounds, all-inclusive playgrounds, BES improvements for walkways and an expansion option. And then we'll look at intermediate classroom expansion, is also looking at some parking lot options as we expand, making that a little better. And then a restroom facility at BIS in the 3rd grade hallway. And then there's another list that we've provided. So this does allow us a lot of flexibility, the language, the bond language, but the amount is $11 million. If you approve this, then what we would do is we would be looking to ask individuals to help us in regard to a bond support group and a committee. Usually what occurs there is board members, you can act in that behalf and or engage parents, and we think that there will be this project is fairly diversified, so we believe that it will hit primary, intermediate, middle school, high school. It's going to be pretty wide scope of people impacted, and so we believe that there'll be a group of parents that would be a good target audience for us to look at as a support committee.
I've already begun to reach out to some of the principals. I haven't reached everybody yet about some parents who might be interested in helping. Those of you as board members have ideas of other people to involve. We'll move forward with putting together our campaign and support services for that.
Braden and I already have a website ready to go up with information. It'll have the capital projects, the priorities, the anticipated budgets. We'll start being able to kind of put some of the renderings with the agreement with Paragon and start giving some people some concepts about what we're looking at for each of those projects.
And before the meeting, while we were between closed session and open session, I did get to visit with one of our board members is gone to make sure that he knew what the bond language was, and because we want to make sure that we're all very unified, and he voiced his support for this too, so I want to make sure that goes on record. Anything else?
I'd recommend the approval of the bond resolution.
Okay. Is there a motion that we proceed with the bond resolution? So moved by Carrie.
Second.
Second by Dan. What was it, Kyle?
No, it was
It was Dan. Okay. Weird. Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. And the motion passes, and so it begins.
There we go.
All right. Let's talk about safety and security, because
So Mike and we've been working and with Tim as well. So we have some kind of new projects that we're working on. There will be 3 different components of this. So we have a safety security camera upgrade and replacement. We have a district communication system, and then a server upgrade to our camera system. Mike, anything to add?
No, that's good, sir.
And the amounts are listed in your packet. So the first one that we would recommend for approval is a replacement of security cameras for $47,932.
do we have to approve these individually?
Yes. They're all different vendors, so that's why we have to.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mike. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. The next is a motion to approve the RCS Radio Communication Specialist Agreement for the District Communication System in the amount of $39,243.54. Is there a motion that we approve that?
So
So moved by Dan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ron. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And next, is there a motion that we approve the super micro agreement for server updates in the amount of $20,354.13?
So moved.
So moved by Carrie, seconded by
Second.
Mike. Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. And that motion passes. Congratulations, Mr. Pitts.
Thank you.
Thank you for your hard work on all of this. You're very appreciated. Okay. There are no public comments. We're on record as saying we've only been here for an hour and 13 minutes.
I don't know who's gonna
I
make
know.
the motions when I'm not here anymore. That's all I'm saying.
I know, someone's gonna have to speak up. Thank you. Thanks for keeping us going, Carrie. Okay, so is there a motion that we adjourn?
So moved.
Ah,
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.